Well, welcome everybody to the online program for the alumni of the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And I thought on this program we talk about relapse prevention and a bit about relapse itself. But I don't want to look at it from the usual point of view. I mean, there's some very good work. Alan Marlett is probably the guru of relapse prevention. And Terence Gorski does a lot of material on this. And it's very good material, as well as a lot of the treatment centers give some basics on it, such as, keep away from slippery places and this sort of thing. Find new friends who aren't using so that you won't get suckered into that. And that's all important stuff. But I remember talking to Dr. Marlett a couple of years ago. And Dr. Marlett just passed away now. And he told me his program, he was quite certain worked. But one of the keys was the people going through the program actually had to be really, really motivated for recovery. So they actually had to practice these techniques and strategies that he gave them. And if they weren't motivated for recovery, well, there's no real point to the exercise. And we've had a handful of clients over the years who've been, I think we're treatment center number 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. And it's not that they're lacking the basics of relapse prevention. I mean, they're actually quite well versed in it. Some of them can quote stuff out of books. But they don't seem to have the motivation, right? And so this idea of motivation is pretty important. One of the key things, for example, that we've noticed over the years and is just beginning to be backed up by research is this idea of boredom. So if you're a client at Sunshine Coast Health Center, you know that we spend a lot of time talking about boredom. Mainly because Viktor Frankl, who we talk about a lot here, was the one who said addiction was a response to living a life that had little personal meaning. And how could you tell if someone had little personal meaning? Well, the hallmark symptom, said Frankl, was boredom. And research is now beginning to back this up. There's a growing body of research that has already shown that boredom is linked with many different kinds of addiction, including gambling and substance addictions, with a lot of eating disorders. But boredom in psychology has not really been given as much attention as it should. But again, as I said, there are beginning to be more and more people studying this. But boredom is really a key thing here, because if you're bored in recovery, I don't know, here's a typical thing we'll hear. Well, I was going to meetings for 6 months, and it just wasn't working for me. And I was, I was at home and I was doing all the chores, cutting the grass, and, my family was happy about that. And, maybe I was taking the dog out for a walk. And they described their life. And very often at the end of it, they said, God, this recovery stuff, I've never been so bored in my life. And this is a really powerful thing, this boredom, right? And so one of the things that we keep hearing over and over again from clients who've come here because they've relapsed, and from a handful of the alumni clients who've gone on for whatever reason, have had a slip, is they keep talking about they just don't feel alive in recovery. They feel they're almost like living a mechanical life. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, I got to get up and go to work. Or it's, Wednesday night, I better get out to the meeting. That kind of thing. It's mechanical. It's not really making them feel alive and filling up their lives. So boredom is actually one of the keys to relapse prevention, and to figure out how you're going to live your life so you won't be bored. And as we've mentioned before in the alumni program, the tactic of I will just keep busy, 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 because I've noticed when I'm not busy, I get bored and I relapse. That has not a good, you won't stay in recovery for very long if that's your plan, let's put it that way, because there's no substance to it, right? No good. It's no good going and cutting the grass all the time and trimming the hedges and everything if that really doesn't make you feel alive. I mean, doing all these little things just to keep busy is not a way of filling up your life. And if you keep doing them, chances are you're going to get bored. Anyway, So that's this week's online program. So this idea again about boredom as a real key to preventing relapse, because boredom is heavily associated with drug use. Okay, so we'll be back next week with another one.